began as one of those rare, perfect mornings, the kind you almost don't notice because everything feels just right. The sun filtered softly through the kitchen blinds, the scent of fresh coffee drifted through the air, and the quiet hum of the neighborhood signaled the start of an ordinary day. Birds chattered in the oak tree by the porch, and the rhythmic ticking of the clock seemed almost comforting. My wife, still in her robe, was scanning through emails from the sheriff's office, half smiling at a message from one of her deputies. For a brief moment, everything was peaceful, predictable, and calm. That calm shattered in an instant. A pounding, hard, sharp, and deliberate echoed through the hallway. It wasn't the kind of knock you expect from a neighbor or a delivery driver, it was the kind that carries authority, or at least the illusion of it. Startled, I glanced through the window and froze. Two men in dark tactical uniforms stood on the porch, hands resting on their belts, eyes scanning the property like they were preparing for a raid. Across the street, a few neighbors peeked from behind curtains, drawn by the sudden commotion. I opened the door, heart thudding, and before I could speak, one of the men barked out, "We're here on behalf of the HOA. Compliance inspection." His tone was clipped, almost rehearsed, as if he'd practiced intimidation. Behind me, my wife appeared calm, composed, assessing the situation with the steady gaze of someone trained to handle threats far more serious than a pair of self-appointed enforcers. The men didn't know who they were dealing with, and I almost pitied them for it. What began as a quiet morning was about to spiral into a confrontation that would expose just how far this HOA was willing to go. The two men on our porch looked more like tactical officers than anything associated with a homeowners association. Their boots were polished to a military shine, their shirts bore stitched patches that read HOA Compliance Division, and the glint of metal at their hips confirmed my suspicion these men were armed. The absurdity of it almost made me laugh. Armed HOA officers? Since when did checking lawn heights or mailbox paint colors require sidearms? But there was nothing humorous about the way they squared their shoulders or the cold detachment in their eyes. They weren't here to chat about community rules, they were here to intimidate. Compliance inspection, one repeated, flashing what looked like an ID badge. It wasn't official, no county seal, no agency insignia, just the HOA logo printed on laminated plastic. I asked to see a warrant. He scoffed. "We don't need one," he said, trying to peer past me into the house. "This property has several reported violations." His partner circled the porch, taking photos with a tablet. That was the moment my patience began to evaporate. This wasn't procedure, it was harassment wrapped in a thin disguise of authority. Behind me, my wife's voice